Who's the best team in the NFL? That is the Denver Postgame live Orange Blue. It feels great. Denver Broncos, big ass win, big ass cojones, big ass win streak, big ass home crowd showing up, and big ass Philip Lindsay firing up the crowd. Getting it done. I got to text Phil, congratulations. Because his work, he did it. We did it, you guys. Green Bay Packers go down to the Denver Broncos. Here to talk about it with you. And that's what we've got time for. How are you doing out there, Internet, YouTube, Broncos Country React? It is time to talk about Week 15. Time to talk about the Denver Broncos, the best team in football, #1 in the National Football League. Chiefs getting eliminated, Bills come back and win over the Patriots, and the Broncos keep rolling. And that's what you love right here, Orange and Blue Today, Postgame Live. Cecil Lammey to talk about it. And the Broncos are the best team in the NFL. The Broncos are the best team in the NFL. There's no doubt. There's no question. This game against Green Bay was huge. Obviously, you want to take on a team like the Rams or whatever. Don't at me, bro. Don't at me, bro, today. Wrong thumbnail. Sorry. How about just me talking about this Denver Broncos team and just how intense it was? I got my Bo Leave shirt on. I've got my Believe stickers right there. Do you believe in what the Denver Broncos can do to you? The old UPS, what can brown do for you? What can orange and blue do for you? Kick the crap out of you if you're an opponent coming a mile high, and that #1 seed is closer to the Denver Broncos, and I am over the flipping moon. And this is absolutely great to see. Now, some concerns, RJ Harvey ribs injury. We've got some things there. Bo Nix looked very banged up after that game as well. An exhausting game, but a hell of a football game. Hell of a football game. When I look at the handy-dandy note card that I always point back to, and I had this team at 13-4, I had this as a loss to Green Bay. And the Broncos have proved me wrong, and yeah, it's awesome. Go. No window, love, go. I had them at 13 wins. Go get 15. Go. Come on. Go. Yes. Green Bay couldn't come in here and get it done. We can talk about the Christian Watson injury. We can talk about the Micah Parsons injury. But the bottom line is that's a W in the win column. That's all that matters. And are the Broncos haters going to shut the hell up? No, they're not. So do I care about it? No. I watch a lot of philosophical channels on YouTube. One of them is with Keanu Reeves. And he said this week, wisdom is knowing what to ignore. I'm just going to ignore the haters because they're stupid. If you're out there hating on the Denver Broncos and hating on Bo Nix, you're just really dumb. Low-level intelligence. If you have questions about Bo Nix, it's fair. If you have questions about the Broncos, fair. That's all fair. And all of that should be talked about, by the way. When I've had questions about the Broncos and I talk about them and people call me a hater, well, that's dumb. You shouldn't be a hater when you just merely have questions. I had this team at 13 wins. Very few people, although more coming out of the woodwork to say they had 13 as well. I'm not so sure about that. I was the only one locally that picked them at 13 wins. And others will say, I got them too. I don't think so. 13 wins right here. Questions about this team, fair. But if you think this team sucks or they're overrated or they're frauds or anything, you're just stupid. And you know what you do with stupid people? You ignore them. And yeah, I'm on one because I can't stand that they can beat the Packers and it still doesn't matter. They can win the Super Bowl and there'll still be people like, yeah, but Bo Nix kind of sucks. The Broncos are kind of frauds. It's because the Chiefs were down. Whatever. I know the Chiefs aren't going to the playoffs. I know the Broncos with this win are going to the playoffs. And now a nice, comfy lead with the New England Patriots. They already had that tiebreaker because the Patriots lost to the Raiders in week 1. And Dave Portnoy, I guess, can say murder Pete Carroll and not get in trouble. And then the next week go on and on about how the dynasty is back in New England. And then they lose to the Bills. Is there anything more sweet? As I sip my cup of coffee, is there anything more sweet than the tears of Broncos haters? Is there anything more sweet than the tears of Patriots homers? And make no doubt about it, Dave Portnoy is a Patriots homer. And I know I'm not a Barstool guy. If you are, fine, that's awesome. I remember having my first beer. If you're a Barstool guy, awesome. You're the greatest ever, and they're the fantastic. Whatever. I know ZB got upset one time because they read his tweet on Harden My Take, I think is the name of the show. And me and Dover like, I don't know what that is. It's obviously a big show. If you get down with Barstool, that's awesome. But all you guys, all you doubters, and even all the people that were off and on the bandwagon, like Colin Cowherd, off and on the bandwagon, no, shh. Bo leave or be gone. Bo leave or be gone. Period. And this is not, again, you can have questions. There's plenty of questions about this team. You can have concerns about this defense. There's plenty of concerns about this defense. And I know they kept repeating it. They're number 1. Okay, yeah, but there's weaknesses that the Packers, like the Commanders, exposed, but they did it in a loss. So you're going to take your weak parts of your game. You're going to strengthen them as much as possible, and you're going to march on forward. Green Bay's a problem. And the Broncos handled said problem. So everyone, get your party ready, get your libations ready, whatever you may enjoy, and get ready to celebrate this team because they look like the best team in football. They look like they're Super Bowl bound. They look like a team that you don't want to mess with, that you don't want to F with. You don't want to mess with the Denver Broncos. Because even when they have their struggles, and Josh Jacobs with another big game against the Broncos, shocker, it doesn't lead to a win. So again, concerns, fair. Saying they're frauds, you're stupid. Saying that whatever, having the power rankings, whoever's doing those power rankings, and they had Kansas City above Denver this week. They had Kansas City above Denver this week. I don't think it was PFF. And again, trolls, if y'all have time for me, that'd be great. I have 3 jobs. I work in football and I run an independent comic book company. So if you've got time to mess with the trolls, great. I've got time to rant and rave about the Broncos in this show because they did a hell of a job. And if you're still saying frauds or you still don't Bo leave, then I don't have any time for you. I'm sorry. Time is our most precious asset. Why do we waste time on people that are a waste of time? And the people that doubt this Broncos team, you're just a waste of time. You don't understand football, or you just hate the Broncos, or you hate the NFL. There's several reasons, and I don't care what those reasons are. This team is damn good. This team is the best team in football. This team is a team that you do not want to mess with because no matter what you do, and no matter the type of problems that you can bring to the field, as the Green Bay Packers bring to the field, multiple problems, regardless of what you can do, the Broncos are better than you. Period. You can still run on this team. And don't at me, bro. I saw some people during the week. They were like, well, actually, they are the number 1. Most teams don't have the stomach to keep running with the Broncos. But as you saw with Josh Jacobs, 12 for 73, a rushing touchdown, and that receiving touchdown was sweet. It just was. But, you can run on this team. Green Bay is one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL because they have multiple receiving weapons. It's not just Christian Watson. Hell, he just got back a month ago from a knee injury. And now, what was it, shoulder, whatever, chat room, tell me. Chat room, react to me. And, yeah, if you want to go troll some haters, that's fine. Have fun. I'm just not going to pay attention to them anymore because they clearly don't know what they're talking about, and they never did. They never did. I said 13-4, and I might be wrong in terms of too low. I said 13-4. I was the only one to say 13-4, and I might be too low for the Broncos win total. Are you kidding me? How can you not call this team the best team in the NFL? And the Rams are a problem. Make no mistake about it. I got a lot of love for Sean McVay. A lot of love for Matthew Stafford, that group over there. I know some people around that building, some really, really good people, like good people. And then they have Kroenke owning them. But they have good people working within the team. And then Kroenke owning them. But the Rams are a problem. They're not on your schedule unless you face them in the Super Bowl. Green Bay is as close as you could get to the Rams or even the Commanders, who obviously aren't going to be anywhere in the postseason. But when you have teams that can run the ball and have multiple pass-catching threats, tight ends, wide receivers, etc., backs out of the backfield. Josh Jacobs looked like a damn receiver today. When you have multiple threats out of the backfield, this is a problem for any defense, let alone the best defense in football, certain categories, Houston's number one, whatever. We know that they're not quite 2015 no-fly zone, but we also know that they're damn good and one of the best out there hunting quarterbacks. Jordan Love doesn't throw picks. Jordan Love threw 2 picks. Got him, as I believe that was Kevin Kistner's mile-high moment. So mile-high moments abound for this team. And with the Denver Broncos, well, you got to love what you see. You got to love what you see. My buddy Mark, shout out Mark, because you could hear a little bit. I thought the Packers fans were about maybe 20%, maybe less than 20%. It might be more than that. I didn't notice them much color-wise during the broadcast, and a lot of green there. I don't know if you were wearing white because the Packers were wearing white or whatever. But broadcast-wise, and again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm at home watching on TV, but if you're at the stadium, or I'll check in with Mace. Of course, Mace will be on the show tomorrow. But it's like, okay, you took care of business. But you did hear at times a go, Pack, go. So my buddy Mark, who's a big Broncos fan, lives out there in Hollywood. What's up, Mark? He says, go, Pack, go home. Go, Pack, go home. I think that's the way I should have read it. So there you go. My buddy Gabe El Taib, shout out Big Man Comics. He says, my son and I are looking at Super Bowl tickets. I mean, isn't that where this team seems destined to go? Isn't that? And then Dover text me, Bo effing Nix. Yeah, Bo Nix. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But doesn't this team feel like that? Like Santa Clara is where they're heading. And there's a lot of football left. You got to play a lot of football. And the Jaguars are going to be a challenge. And the Chiefs, maybe less so. Does anyone have an update on Pat Mahomes? We'll get to that in the chat. I got about 15 minutes left to rant. I got a lot to say about this game. And then I'm going to get to your chat at the half-hour mark. Go for a half hour taking your questions, your comments. And then we'll wrap this puppy up in an hour, just like we do every single week right here on Orange and Blue Today, post-game live. Broncos get the win over the Green Bay Packers, and it's glorious. They're the best team in football. If you say otherwise, you hate them or you don't understand or whatever. And again, don't really matter. This team has good football left to play. Very rarely this season have we said complete game. But today, Bo Nix, 23 of 34, 303 yards, 4 touchdowns, no INTs. This was the complete game. And for those saying like Bo Nix had peaked these last 3 weeks, because he's been playing really good football now the last 4 weeks, and today playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL with those 4 touchdown passes, that's the difference. The 3 previous weeks, he hadn't been throwing as many touchdowns. Today, 4 touchdowns. They've got the franchise quarterback. They've got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And if you don't believe, you can be gone because you love the efficiency numbers from Bo Nix. And yes, there were probably 3, maybe even 4 passes that were near interceptions. But we don't live in that world. Okay? And again, this is where part of my, I don't know, job or maybe even aggravation comes from I have to hear the argument. And I'm fine. I'll argue with anybody about anything if I strongly believe about it. And I believe the Broncos are a 13-4 team, and they might be proving me wrong as the biggest quote-unquote homer, as people called me. I had coworkers call me a homer. And yes, I remember that because I remember everything because I picked the Broncos with 13 wins. I could give a damn. I just know this is a really good team. And on one hand of a bad woodshop teacher, I can count their number of complete games this year as a team collectively. I thought today was one of those days that really got up for their opponent, and you could tell there was a playoff vibe. You could tell there was a playoff atmosphere. And speaking of go, Pack, go home, You guys showed up. If you are at the game right now and you're watching me on YouTube or driving home, and the YouTube app's great because you can start a video and then shut off your screen and just listen to it through your Bluetooth. So if you're listening to me right now, one, thank you. Like, comment, share, subscribe. But two, no, thank you. Broncos country, thank you. That's how I should have started the show. Thank you for showing up, kicking ass. You guys were so loud. So many penalties. I counted 4 penalties just on crowd noise. I might be low. It might have been half a dozen penalties on crowd noise. Are you effing kidding me? But this is what happens when the Mile High Magic has returned. And this is why, even when I said 13-4, I never said they would be the best team in football. I said they would be climbing into the elite with Buffalo and Baltimore. That's what I said in August. Obviously, I'm wrong about Baltimore. Lamar Jackson's been hurt, notwithstanding. And Buffalo's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, probably because Sean McDermott's a terrible person, allegedly, or what I have to say, and then a terrible coach, in my opinion. He's a less likable John Fox. But now the Broncos are the elite team. You're looking up at them at the top of the standings. So even as crazy as I am saying 13-4, I never said number 1 seed. Now that the number 1 seed is theirs and you can get it, win these next 3 or win however many of the next 3. And for the love of God, and I'm not going to threaten violence, but I might slap you upside the back of the head if you're a media member that starts talking about this God-blessed win streak as the story. The story isn't the God-blessed win streak. The story is this team. The story is Bo Nix. The story is Nick Bonito. The story is Pat Surtain. The story is the effort, Cortland Sutton, the efforts of this team that have got him to this point. The streak is the streak, whatever. There's been games that have felt like losses, but they've been wins. Nobody distract this team from, hey, it was just like the stupid J.K. Dobbins questions. Like, you need an extension now, buddy? Yeah, God. It's not about the streak. This team is the best team in football. I dare you to come play the Denver Broncos. I dare you to think that you can come to the Mile High City and beat this team because you can't. And this is the type of win that shows you, unless you're blind or stupid or a hater and just absolutely hate them, you think, hey, they're not a Super Bowl contender. They're absolutely a Super Bowl contender and the best team in the NFL. And it's obvious. And I don't want to hear a God-blessed thing that has anything to do with them being frauds or they're phonies or they're not really a good football team. You can't not really be a good football team and win 12 flipping games, okay? You can't not really be a good football team and have this sort of win streak. You can't not really be one of the best football teams and be 12-2, have this undefeated streak at home, have the talent. And by the way, when you got guys like Little Jordan Humphrey and Michael Bandy doing work, I mean, for the love of God, it tells you what this team is building. They have Little Jordan Humphrey and Michael Bandy making plays, touchdowns, okay? And all due respect to Little Jordan Humphrey, who's a million times better than me, and all due respect to Michael Bandy, who's a million times better. These guys are barely hanging on the NFL, but Sean Payton gets them, and he turns them into playmakers. Today was a measuring stick for Sean. I had said in this contest it was going to be the Spider-Man meme. It's like, you, me first, you first, hey, me, you, how about you, hey, there we go. Because the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos are so flippin' similar. And because they're so flippin' similar, because I can't speak English, because they're so similar, this game was going to come down to coach and quarterback. And all due respect to Matt LaFleur, and all due respect to Jordan Love, but the superior duo was always Sean Payton and Bo Nix. It always was. It always was. That was never a question. That should have never been in doubt, ever have been in doubt. So because it was the Spider-Man meme, it came down to what kind of game plan did you have? I thought VJ adjusted. His plan initially was not great, Bob. But VJ adjusted. And I thought Sean Bo had to run and throw on the run a little bit more than he has in previous weeks. And that's where some of those near interceptions come from. Again, for the doubters, like, well, Bo was on. I mean, yeah, but Christian Watson got hurt and Micah Parsons got hurt, and Bo almost had like 4 picks. Well, we don't live in an almost world. We live in a world where it's results. And what are the Broncos' results? Let me check. Checks notes. 12 wins. Oh, yeah, shut the hell up. That's what the Broncos have. That's what they're going. And Kevin Kistner just texted me what kind of dreams he's going to have tonight. And that's troublesome. Kevin, don't ever text me what kind of dreams you're going to have after a Broncos win, because that's disgusting, brother. I say that lovingly. What was I talking about? I think I was ranting more about just this team. They're the best team in football. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything else except, how are you going to beat this Denver Broncos team? And if somebody does in the regular season with 3 games left, then you can shake their hand and say, good game. We're moving on, on to the next one. And Sean Payton has this team playing their best football in December. The Patriots have already peaked. Now they can reset and they can be there. They can be a problem, and Drake May's a problem. But they're not better than the Denver Broncos. If you thought the New England Patriots were better than the Denver Broncos, you're a homer. And perhaps a moron, but definitely a homer. There's no way you could have ever watched the Patriots this year. And sick brag, bro, I watch every game in the NFL twice. I chart plays. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. And observing it in that way, and again, I don't know everything. I'm wrong about a million things or whatever. So don't at me, bro. But I watched the Patriots this year, and I knew that they're playing the top of the draft. And yeah, they can put up a fight against Buffalo until the end, and Buffalo comes back. And it's more than just one game. It's the collective. It's what kind of football are you playing, and then what kind of football can you play? If there's no powerhouses, and I may be changing that, the Broncos may be that powerhouse. They may be the lone powerhouse in the National Football League. Come at me, bro. Come at the Broncos. Let's see what you get, right? And if we look at this situation across the National Football League, looks like the Rams did win 41-34 over the Lions. I was just looking that up real quick. Are we on a collision course for Rams-Broncos Super Bowl? Because I think we are. So if you want to say the Rams are a powerhouse and the Broncos are a powerhouse, I believe that's the conversation. But if the conversation is there's no powerhouses, like this is your year, the Chiefs are knocked out of it. Chiefs, whatever. Chiefs, get out of it, Chiefs. Go on, go. Travis Kelce, please retire. Please just go make country albums with Taylor Swift or whatever you're going to do. Just please, Travis Kelce, be gone. Chiefs, get out of here. But if you can look at it when you say there's no powerhouses, it's who has powerhouse tendencies. That's these guys. And then who can get there? Who can get there the fastest, right? Because you can have potential, but as Mark Schlereth has always said, and if there's anybody that's the king of all things, it is Mark Schlereth. It is one stink. Mark Schlereth has always said potential is a dirty, filthy word. The Broncos have the potential to be Super Bowl champions, but you got to get there. So if you believe, as I did before this game, hey, there's no powerhouses, but this can be your year. You can win 13 games. Now you can get the number 1 seed. You can go to the Super Bowl. You can win this Super Bowl, and you can be the powerhouse. Are you playing your best football in December? Check. Are the New England Patriots playing their best football in December? Oh, wait, that's not a check because they've peaked against bad teams. The Denver Broncos are the best team of football. And Bo Nix and company proved it today. Sean Payton and company proved it today. Cortland Sutton and company. Nick Bonito. Jonathan Cooper. They proved it today. And this feels fantastic. Jordan Love is a hell of a quarterback. And they got him for 2 picks. He doesn't throw interceptions. And they got 2 of them today. He doesn't really take sacks. He got sacked 3 times. Bo Nix doesn't take sacks. He got sacked 0 times. And I can't remember who had it, but the people who were like, the numbers between Bo Nix and Russell Wilson in the same amount of games are almost identical, except sacks. Bo has 40 sacks, and Russell had 100. The sacks are a quarterback stat. Bo Nix doesn't take sacks. They had 0 on him today, and that was with Micah Parsons. And hope he's okay. You hate to see that type of injury. This was a great game. As an observer of football and a lover of all things Denver Broncos, this was a great game because it was well fought. It was, close. There were points of contention. There was a pre-game scrum. There was a dust-up, if we'll call it that, with Alex Singleton out there, Dre Greenlaw pushing guys around. I thought that was awesome. But if we look at what the Broncos did today they cemented themselves as the best team in football in mid-December, literally mid-December. In mid-December, your Denver Broncos are the best team in the NFL. Now, that doesn't give you a Super Bowl, but that gets you on the road to a Super Bowl. In Santa Clara, yeah, I could see the Broncos there for Super Bowl 60. And, hey, these last 10 years have been basically 9 years of hell. If you were to tell me you got to go through 9 years of hell, I'd be like, well, that Broncos don't really do that. But if you said, hey, Super Bowl 60 is going to be yours, okay, Super Bowl 60 is theirs until it's not. And even today, even in today's game, big win, 34-26 for the Green Bay Packers, big win. Even today, they haven't played their best football. They played better, certainly, to beat one of the NFL's best. They've played better, but they still didn't play a perfect game. I rarely do teams do that, so I'm never going to look at the Broncos and be like, they weren't perfect today. Rarely is a team perfect. But, like, when all the breaks are going your way, when you're hitting all cylinders, where all the plays you've dialed up, when your plans work from the jump, that didn't happen today. They had plenty of things to overcome. Jeremy Crawshaw was out there punting. Like, you had some issues to overcome, and you rose to the challenge. And to one, I would say to Tony Romo, thank God this wasn't a Chiefs game because Romo's absolutely unbearable. It's like Chris Collinsworth when the Chiefs are on. But Tony Romo, about 7 minutes left in the third quarter, Broncos were driving on a drive that I believe ended in a punt. I'll have to go back and look. But anyway, so during that drive, it was like a critical third down that the Broncos didn't get. And Romo's like, you really got to, I know these guys wait till the fourth quarter, but you got to hit it like right here. When he said that, I thought, he doesn't watch the Broncos. When he said that with 7 minutes, whatever it was, left in the third quarter, and the Broncos didn't move the chains, and Tony Romo's like, that'll cost you in this game. You don't watch the Broncos. They're always a fourth quarter team. And again, as I quote my dear beloved grandmother who loved John Elway, the biggest Broncos fans I know are females. It's my dearly departed grandmother, Mildred, and my sister, Carrie, who's probably watching right now. Hi, Carrie. Biggest Broncos fans I know. Love these Broncos. But as my grandma would always say, that's just their way. They're just a fourth quarter team. They're going to win by like a score. They're going to win by like 7 points, 8 points, whatever. They're going to win close games. But they're going to have the wherewithal and the mettle and the insight and the foresight and the guts, the nuts, the balls to be like, hey, it doesn't matter. We're up, we're down. Fourth quarter, it's time to take over. They've taken their best punch. And I'm not saying they're saving their best punch for the fourth quarter, although Sean Payton has a secret stash. Let that one breathe if you want. Sean Payton has a secret stash of plays that he's probably sitting on for the postseason. There's still stuff with Marvin Mims they're not doing that they did a year ago. You could go back to last year's film and see what it is. And they tried more today with Marvin. It was good. He did get banged up. Stinger, I believe he was looked at for a concussion, but he was getting just thrown around out there. So thank goodness that Marvin Mims is more than okay for this team. Of course, we'll get any sort of updates, all that, as this thing continues. So RJ Harvey with the ribs thing, Marvin Mims with the stinger thing. Like, okay, keep this team healthy, continue to grow. Who has powerhouse tendencies? The Broncos, and the Patriots do as well. I still do not believe, even at full strength, the Patriots would be better than the Broncos. So they have powerhouse tendencies. I can't really say Buffalo, although you'd probably have to put them in that conversation of who has powerhouse tendencies. You'd have to say Buffalo has that. I wouldn't say Jacksonville. I wouldn't say the Chargers. Houston, maybe, but they'd be like fourth on the list behind Broncos, Patriots, Bills, and then the Texans. So if you look, it's a very small group of teams. I'm just talking AFC side. The Broncos are at the top of that, and they still haven't played their best game, which is a great sign. It's a great sign because when they started this win streak and they're like rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and you had some games that looked ugly, and why did it take a fourth quarter comeback against Jackson Dart? It just did. Okay, why is the sky blue? It just is. Why that? Because that's who they are. That's just their way. They're going to win close games. They're going to fight hard, and they're going to come back in the fourth quarter, and they're going to win. They're either going to increase their lead or they're going to get the lead back, and they're going to win. That's who they are. It's clear and obvious that's who they are. It's clear and obvious that R.J. Harvey has a nose for the end zone, 10 touchdowns as a rookie. That's a hell of a mark. That's a hell of a feat for a rookie runner that didn't even get the full-time job and really doesn't have a full-time. He's the starter, and 19 carries today shows you how more full-time that was. So that's a number that surprises me because it's 19 for 65. So out of the 31 carries, 19 of them were for RJ Harvey. So he's got that full load now, but it's taken the last 4 games or whatever it's been without J.K. Dobbins for him to get that sort of healthy chunk of plays. He's got 10 touchdowns as mostly this year a part-time player, now a more full-time player, and he's got 10 touchdowns. He hasn't played his best football. When he follows his blocks, good things happen. When he tries to bounce one outside, he did, and Rashawn Gary got him from behind, I believe, on one of those plays. Like, the play was set up, and if this was college, that'd probably been a 40-yard play. It's the NFL. He lost a yard because backside pursuit is always there in the NFL. But RJ Harvey hasn't played his best football. What happens if he plays 10% better or 20% better? What happens then? Could be pretty good. Bo Nix playing really good football, and today close to his best football. Bo Nix with 7 carries, 10 yards, only 10, but there are times he needed to play. He needed to have those 7 carries. And I always say like 5 carries is about what I want for Bo Nix, some of those designed. And if he had a couple more, fine. I don't want 10 carries. He didn't get 10 carries. He got 10 yards, but 7 carries. And then 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no INTs. And again, distributing it to Cortland Sutton. I got to have a whole special section for Cortland Sutton. Troy Franklin coming through, LJH, Marvin Mims with those 4 catches because, of course, no Pat Bryant. Michael Bandy getting a touchdown. Evan Ingram only a catch. If I look at this game and I look at what works against Green Bay, I talked about it on Dover and Cecil, and I talked about it on the Saturday edition of Orange and Blue today. The tight end in the middle of the field should have been more involved against Green Bay based on their weakness and where their weakness is at. They didn't really do that, unless you want to call those LJH catches or Michael Bandy catches. Like, oh, okay, maybe that's part of the middle of the field conversation. But since the Commanders game, now we've had 2 games where Evan Ingram didn't do what he did earlier. And okay, I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more of Evan Ingram. We didn't necessarily see that. That's something that, how do they play their best football? If the Broncos offense today was, let's say, 80% of their potential, how do you get to 90%? More Evan Ingram. And that would take away from a Michael Bandy or an LJH, but like more Evan Ingram. And if he's a decoy and then LJH eats, I don't care, baby. It's about the W. It's about the W. This ain't fantasy football. So get the W and go forth and be great. All right, about halfway through, I promise I'll get to. I have 1,058 comments. I'm not going to get to them all. But I appreciate you all very much. So let's hear a word from our sponsor. I'm going to get to your comments. Give me some good ones coming up after a word from RamosLaw.com.
At Ramos Law, they believe in building long-term relationships with their clients. Wondering if you have enough insurance? Send them your coverage information, and they'll review it for you absolutely free. Dr. Joseph Ramos spent years treating injured patients in the Denver General Emergency Department, making him a true injury expert. Ramos Law, uniquely built to fight for you.
Right, and many thanks to RamosLaw.com. To the chat room we go, and we will get to our chat room. We need to mod the chat. Can we hire one of them to mod your chat? If we've got some bots and I see them, I'll kick them out. But I mean, it's the Wild West, baby. It's me. I'm here, and that's it. Blue River Bass, one of the real ones, says, so curious the underutilization of Evan Ingram. In studying the film, not every week does he get open. Obviously, I haven't seen the coach's tape from this game. But if he's open and Bo was missing him, that would be a thing. Sometimes he's not getting open, and sometimes his snap count is down because they want tight ends that can block. They want players out there like an Adam Troutman that can block. So Packers are weak against the tight end. They didn't really use Evan Ingram today. They won. I don't care. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's what it is. Any update on Harvey? Says hoodwinked. I don't believe. Somebody check Twitter. Chat room, you're more capable of checking Twitter and all that kind of stuff than I. If anybody does, put it in the chat room and I'll put it up here. Broncos 719. Bo lit it up. Bo did light it up. Bo was absolutely phenomenal out there. Bo Nix put on a hell of a show to prove that he's one of the best young quarterbacks in football. And there are others, but make mine Bo Nix. Why? I don't have to worry about any sort of off-field distractions, as you do with some of these other young quarterbacks. And hey, young quarterback's going to be a young quarterback. Josh Allen, for a long time, had a problem with staying focused on just football. I'll say that. And I like Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen a lot. But the mere fact of the matter is, before you settle down, you might be a little wild in them streets, and well, that can cause you to fall short. Bo Nix, married, expecting a child, full faith in Jesus. Bo Nix isn't going to be out there running around, getting kicked out of half the bars in Denver like Jay Cutler did, allegedly, or whatever I have to say. Like, make mine Bo Nix. Of all the young quarterbacks, and just take last year's class, make mine Bo Nix. I had Jane Daniels as my number one quarterback. My concern was his lower body. His elbow is what cost him this year. But still, like, make mine Bo Nix. Why don't people believe? Oh, yeah, I don't care. Creaky, what's up, Creaky? Says, let's go 15-2. F it. Why not? Why not? I just caution, and again, I'm not promoting violence, but I might smack some media members I know in the back of the head if they start talking about the God-blessed win streak. The win streak is just the win streak. Whatever. And most of those guys don't care about it. I can't say none of them care because that would be a blanket statement. And in life, it's best to stay away from those type of statements because it's not always true. I'm sure there's some that are like, man, we've won 11 in a row. Just go out there and get your wins. Go out there and gets the wins. Craig, what up, Craig? Get up, Craig. Home field throughout could very well be clinched next week. That's right. Home field throughout the playoffs. Have everyone come to the Mile High. You know what I would love? There's nothing more. All I want for Christmas is a win over the Chiefs. But all I want for Christmas, and who knows, if anyone has an update on Mahomes, again, that might not be even Mahomes out there in 2 weeks. But anyway, I want week 18 to be a Jarrett Stidham game because the Broncos have wrapped up everything and it doesn't really matter. Maybe that's the loss. Maybe that's loss number 3 on the season for the Broncos is week 18 against the Chargers when Jarrett Stidham plays and the Chargers are fighting for their wild card lives. Okay, if that's the case, then so be it. Craig's saying also, different Craig Hart, MVP. Yep, that's right. MVP. Bo Nix. Why not? Now, he wasn't playing like this all season long, but this wasn't even a perfect game from Bo Nix. Think about it. Anthony says, RJ Harvey injury. It was a ribs thing at the end. You heard Tracy Wolfson, I believe it was, talk about it during the game. Ashley Watson comedy, one of my favorites, says, LOL, yeah, good luck. Get them Cecil from Creaky. Yeah. I appreciate that. My favorite sports commentator in Denver. Why, thank you, Rick James. Where's the orange aura, right? This is Bo Nix right here. Right now, Bo Nix, all the doubters of Bo Nix are being like, what the? I was not aware that Bo Nix was awesome because I don't know. And all of us Bo Nix supporters are like, see, I told you right there. I thought I had the Rick James aura. I'm missing the Rick James aura in my massive amount of gifts here. Let the boy watch. Yeah, let your kids watch the Broncos. Let them watch Bo Nix out there cooking. Nick Bonito gathering up quarterbacks. You absolutely love to see that. All right, back to the chat room and more of your comments here. Again, thank you for all reaching out and all that. And I love it, man. I love this from Rickus Rick. Jeremy says, go Broncos. Thank you, Jeremy. Rickus Rick says, Franklin has best game of the season so far. Franklin was money. Man, you're so money. You don't even know it. You're like a big bear, man. Swingers, watch it. And I personally believe, every single man talk, every man at some point in their life has been every character in Swingers. We've all been John Favreau, calling and being pathetic on the phone, leaving messages. We've all been Vince Vaughn. We've probably all been his brother in that movie. Lucy, I think is his name. We've all been the dude from Office Space who's like, I played Hamlet, and now I'm playing Goofy. We've all been the one guy who's like, this party's dead anyway, man. We've always been that guy. Every single man out there has been every character in Swingers at some point in your life. I know I have. So you're like a big bear. I'm going to get up on the table and dance at breakfast. You might see me in an IHOP. If you're in the Denver area, because full disclosure, when I go to write my handy dandy comic books, I like the calm that an IHOP brings. Maybe it's just the pancakes. Maybe it's this Broncos team having me over the moon. Freaking Bo leaving in the Super Bowl run. Let's go, Allen. Allen says he's Bo leaving. That's right. This is the best team in the NFL. Best team. Bronco Burger puts it correctly. If Evan was open, he'd get the ball. And I think it's not Bo Nix ignoring the field. It's definitely not that. I hope to God nobody's saying that, because if they are, again, we just got to be done. I'll go back to the Keanu Reeves philosophy. Wisdom is knowing what to ignore. I only have a certain amount of time in my day. A lot of my time is dedicated to my family. The second amount of time is dedicated to my faith. The third amount of time is dedicated to my job, which is football. And the fourth amount of time is dedicated to comic books. So, okay, I don't have the time to deal with the trolls. I don't think any of us really should. Let them talk. Let them talk. Hated Bo Nix? Fine. Have Bo Nix go win Super Bowl MVP. Then what are you going to say? It doesn't matter. The people that didn't like Bo Nix, and who now, by the way, I see it on Twitter, I actually got sent a message, and they win the Super Bowl. I'm going to start naming names because it's time to point them out. We've got talk show hosts in Denver that hated Bo Nix, like literally, and behind the scenes, like hated the Bo Nix pick. Not just didn't like it, not even the guys that listen to Todd McShay, which was so pathetic that you would not have your own opinion. You would listen to Todd McShay and be like, why did they get Bo Nix? He's a third-round pick. Bo Nix is a damn baller. Baller. Go leave or be gone. But now you've got people, oh, Bo Nix playing his best football. Brr, 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 brr. You hated the pick. Stop. Cut it out. Bo Nix is elite. As B. Taylor says, the game against Green Bay elevated him to that status if he wasn't there already. And B. Taylor, let's be honest, he wasn't there until this game. And there's levels to these things. When Bo Nix was playing good football in the last 3 games and now 4, but let's just go before this game, because Kev brought this up on Friday, because Kevin Kistner, he's obsessed with Bo Nix. Again, he sent me a text of the type of dreams he's going to have now because of this win. It's gross, Kevin. That's gross. But, you know, Kistner was like, Bo, he's playing so good. I'm like, he's not throwing touchdowns. Again, you can have questions about this team. That's fair. If you've doubted Bo Nix, like complete doubt, that's poppycock. I think I can say that on the air. So I look at this and I go, okay, Bo Nix wasn't throwing touchdowns, playing really good football for 3 weeks, his best football for 3 weeks. And then in week 4, he threw 4 of them things, 4 touchdowns. So now that's where elite status comes from. And there was a blend today of pocket presence. There was a blend today of throwing on the run, even rolling to the left and throwing on the run. Because every defender is now taught, like Bo Nix, when he scrambles, he runs to the right. And he does the majority of the time. In fact, with data and AI and film, the NFL has all the numbers. I share some Sumer Sports stuff, and people can check that out. It's an AI tool. There's a free version. The NFL version is different. So I kind of give you some taste from the different version. But you look at stuff like that, it's like, how many times have Bo Nix scrambled and thrown while running to his right? That's 80% of the time. It's probably 90%. I can get the number for you, but now it's rolling to the left and throwing on the run while you're rolling to the left. Bo Nix entered elite status today. He wasn't there. Last 3 weeks have been really good. Now 4 weeks, excellent. And in the fourth week, the 4 touchdowns, that's elite status against a damn good defense. And yeah, I know Micah Parsons for part of that game, but against a rush, he was able to once again throw calmly, and the better time, the best quarterbacks in the NFL, they always are ones when you're under high pressure that you can make a play. My dad always told me, as he studied like sports psychology for rodeo, he would always say the best athletes are the ones that can perform at a high level with a calm mind. So it's like maximizing your body physically while mentally you're steady. Bo Nix can maximize his body physically while staying steady mentally. He doesn't get too high with the highs. He doesn't get too low with the lows. Some of those near interceptions could have been interceptions today. And you know how it would have bothered Bo Nix? About this much. About that much. Play the okay game. I got you. Yeah, it wasn't that, but he has entered elite territory now. Chris saying that he threw for 300, hard to complain. Somebody will be doing it. And when somebody does that, mute him. The mute button is awesome, by the way. The mute button is great. You get one shot for me personally, then I'll just mute you because I don't care. I don't have time. I don't go back and forth. I don't care. But all these Bo Nix doubters, they'll find a way to complain. They'll find a way. Matt says, my wife is listening to you for the first time and says you're really good. Well, thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mrs. Matt. Appreciate you for that. I'm just a chucklehead who loves to talk, and I love this game. I love football, and I love what they can do. Settle down, Tom. Tom, you're one of my guys telling me to settle down. Tom, jump in the chat and tell me why you're telling me to settle down. This show doesn't exist if I settle down. People don't like when I'm like calm, and I don't want to be like the yelling shows. I definitely, because I appreciate everyone. There's plenty of people that don't like me, but I appreciate everyone. And I have people be like, man, when are you going to be on ESPN? I don't want to go to ESPN. They pay me a bunch of money, then I'll go to ESPN. But like, I don't want to be on the yelling shows. I've been doing this for 20 years. And, it's just not where I'm going to go. I'm going to be here on YouTube with you. I'm going to be on the radio. I'm going to be talking Broncos until I'm on a beach in Mexico, retired, right? It's the energy. So settle down. I don't think people would like it if I was more sedate. Creaky says, get rowdy. Yeah. Says the same thing for 20 minutes. Yeah, we know, man. I used to think that when I'd listened to Jim Rome for 4 hours a day, and I was a clone, full disclosure, calling in for huge calls of the day, I remember thinking like, Rome just repeats himself. And now when you're in radio and you're like, oh, now I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. So yeah, I'm going to repeat myself. Sorry. That's just the way it is. I love the way that Pablo Orle plays Pablo. He says, I believe. You got to believe. And this game and this team is only getting better. Only getting better. And that is fantastic. David said he's predicted 13-4 as well. Go Broncos. Awesome, David. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was this is a full game. Paul says this is a full game against a top-notch team we needed going into the postseason. This was a playoff game. The Broncos are advancing because they can play like this against the NFL's best. Don't give me Christian Watson getting banged up. Don't give me Micah Parsons getting banged up. Don't give me whatever you want to give me about, well, it's this and the refs did this or whatever. Don't give me any excuses. I want you taking that cheese head off of your head because it's embarrassing. And I want you to cover your face in shame if you're a Green Bay fan. Even my buddy Terry out there. Hi, Terry, who may be watching right now. Terry is a big sports card guy and a dear friend. He's got some really great comic books from Terry. But he's a big cheesehead. He's a big Packers fan. I want you crying in just a bout of shame. I want you shame-filled tonight, Terry, and all of Packers Nation, because this is a damn good team. This is a damn good team. I like what Paul says. Chargers are being difficult, so we have to keep on keeping on. Exactly. I want the Chargers to win, and then week 18 will be week 18, right? It is unlikely to be for the division. The Broncos with the 2-game lead, but still. Beat the Chargers because you haven't done it in the Bo Nix era. But week 18 could just be whatever. Chargers fighting for their wild card lives, and the Broncos just need to stay healthy and then enjoy that first round bye. That's what they're setting up this year. But if the Chargers put a pressure on the Broncos, so they really got to win against Jacksonville and they really got to win against Kansas City, fine. I don't want 13-4, even though 2 losses in a row would match what Super Bowl 32, 33, and 50 teams did in December. All 3 Super Bowl champions for the Broncos had 2-game losing streaks in December. Just saying, I wouldn't mind one in December if it means the Super Bowl championship. But either way, I don't want 13-4 because then I'll be right. Who cares? It's not about me. If you go get 15 wins, awesome. Are you kidding me? 13, they called me crazy. 13, they wanted to lock me up. 13, I was a homer. And now it's 12 wins. 12 wins, 3 games ago. My God, this team, Craig, with the MVP. Great to see Riley Moss. Troy says with the INT. Riley Moss versus Romeo Doubs was a concern of mine. I was very concerned about that. Riley Moss with a horrible DPI. That was a reputation call. Every corner does that. He had a hold of his arm. That's just the technique that you're taught. Okay. What are you going to give Matthew Golden just a touchdown? Well, I can't touch his arm or else I'm going to throw in a flag. I would way rather have a DPI than a touchdown on that play. But either way, Riley Moss, and I did see it passed on to me because I don't live tweet during games. It takes away from the experience. My opinion. If you do, that's great. Awesome. But I was sent some messages from people saying, like, look at this person saying that Riley Moss should get benched. I'm like, oh, well, you're live game tweeting. That's why you do that. That's why you say those things. Riley Moss should not be benched for Jahdae Barron. And by the way, Jahdae Barron's not a bad pick. I've seen that tweeted as well. Oh God. But Riley Moss coming back with that INT, it's exactly the type of confident play and that he needs. The DPI was bogus, complete bogus call. And when he hasn't had bogus DPIs, I haven't defended him. Again, if there's questions about this team, it's fair to talk about it. We're in the trust tree right now. It's a safe space, this circle for Broncos country. We can talk what we need to talk about. But we need to talk about Riley Moss. Yeah, because he had a great flipping game. Bogus call, great game. Great game. I was worried about Romeo Doubs, and Doubs made a couple of plays, to be sure, but 2 for 36. Yeah, okay. Matthew Golden, 3 for 55. Jaden Reed, 5 for 55. Christian Watson hurt, but still 3 for 29 before he was hurt. And Josh Jacobs with that beautiful catch. That was incredibly played by Dre Greenlaw, and it was just a great catch from Josh Jacobs. You're just going to get those sometime. But I love it that Riley Moss kept the confidence because that's what he does. Kept the confidence even after a bogus DPI call. Dave says, Bo and Sean are feeling the flow. This team is magic, says Sharon. What's up, Sharon? Touchdown Bo Nix says rib injury. And that's all you're going to get out of Sean. Sean doesn't talk about injuries until he does. On Friday, he talked about injuries, which was odd. But it's just what Sean does. Jason says, let your hair down, Cecil, LFG. All right. Could it have been any better? Broncos win. Casey lost, and Mahomes is broken. And I would say New England lost as well. I don't root for injuries. I know it's Mahomes, whatever. And I'm not saying Broncos 719's rooting for Mahomes' injury. But in this game, I go, New England lost. Kansas City's not going to the playoffs. The Broncos are guaranteed to go to the playoffs now. What did Ice Cube say? Today was a good day. That's right. Denver is number 1 in the league. They're the best team in football, period. They're peaking at the right time, says Ugly Bob. That's right. They are peaking at the right time. Still room to improve. See, Mike, Nicholas gets it. Sorry, I thought that's Michael. Nicholas gets it. 11 straight and still room to improve. Looking forward to see them hit their peak at the playoffs. Exactly. See, this is why Broncos country is great, because y'all remember, Simba, y'all remember what it was like. This is what it used to be like. Of course the Broncos are Super Bowl contenders. That's always what Broncos country was. And growing up in the 80s and 90s, that's always what Broncos country was. And then in the 80s, it was getting to the Super Bowl and getting embarrassed. But that's what it was. They were always going to be Super Bowl contenders. Now they're Super Bowl contenders again, and it feels glorious. So I agree with Nicholas here. Look forward to seeing them hit their peak in the playoffs. They're not playing their best football. They have 12 wins. If that doesn't say they're elite, I don't know what does. If that doesn't say they're the best team in the NFL, I don't know what does. Am I repeating myself? Yeah. Because I'm going to do that. More MVP chance. Bo was unconscious. Better than ever. Yeah, Tommy. Bo was out there slinging it, man. You loved it. The comfort level. And again, he had some uncomfortable plays where he had to rush and evade the rush and get away from it. But he doesn't take sacks. You can do a lot. Sean Payton himself. Is Sean Payton getting the best out of Bo Nix? Not yet. Can Sean Payton get the best out of Bo Nix? Oh, you bet your ass. He definitely can. Definitely can. Michael saying, Broncos, win it all, shock the world, show them up. Who are we? Are Broncos country back on top. This feels great. Andy says Josh Allen was a pimp. Close. Don't build the dome. It's going to be open air, convertible, whatever. If the Broncos beat the Jags, who can stop us? And I will say this, Tennessee, which is an awesome name. I want to see this team in the playoffs. I want to enjoy every single week. Jaguars are going to present a challenge, to be sure. There's nobody that can stop the Denver Broncos if they play their best football. There's nobody who can stop the Broncos if they play. Today, what did they play? 80% of their game? Maybe collectively as a team? Give me a number. I'm going to agree with it. They played 80% of their game. Well, guess what? What if it's 100? What if it's 90? If they play 80% of their game, if they play exactly like today, nobody's going to beat them. And that's with an RJ Harvey fumble. That's with defensive struggles. That's with some big plays given up, some explosive plays. If they play like they did today, which was not a perfect game, nobody can beat them. The Rams would be close, but nobody can beat them. Singleton's t-shirts, no nuts, all balls. All right. Broncos playing 4 quarters. Other teams better mount up, says Josh. I love that. I love that. Bo versus Josh in the AFC Championship game. I welcome a rematch with Buffalo. I'm not afraid of Buffalo this year. I think Buffalo, Chris says, I think Buffalo is the biggest threat to Denver. We'll see. Bo, AFC Player of the Week, I bet. Haywood saying, what's up with our defense? Talked about it a little bit earlier. Vance Joseph did adjust, but his plan early on was not good. And so he had to adjust, and they did. They took Jacobs away, which is the primary thing. That's why he only got the 12 carries. But he did already make big plays, even with those 12 carries and then a couple catches. Wayne saying Jay Cutler kicked out of half the bars in Denver. That's a rumor. Full disclosure, that's just what everybody's always said. Like him and Tony Scheffler would party it up and, maybe party a little too hard. Maybe, just maybe. Broncos know how to win. That's the main thing. Terrence says, I love your Sean Payton shirt. Yeah, Bo Leave, man. Bo Leave, everyone. Right there, Bo Leave. That's what's on the shirt. Bo Leave. You got to Bo Leave, man. Bo Leave or be gone. The only thing that matters is Santa Clara. I like that. I like that a lot. And we'll see it. TD says, I take those December losses because it means they'll win the Super Bowl. Oh, no. Is it touring sale? Is that for Mahomes, guys? Sorry, I'm just catching up. I'm obviously not on Twitter or whatever because I'm doing a show, but is that what it is? And then I see some bots here I will ban from the chat room. So thank you guys for your patience. And yeah, maybe part of our strategy next year is I get a moderator in here for the chat room so we keep all the haters out and keep it just Broncos or whatever. We rest players in Christmas and still get a W. That would be awesome. That would be incredible. And New England plays Baltimore. I believe they play Baltimore, Tommy, next week. We can look it up. ACL confirmed, torn ACL. Parsons too. Mahomes torn ACL, and that means it'll go into next year. ACL is a 12-month injury. He may be ready like maybe week 1, but he's probably going to be ready like week 8. So that's a problem. That's a problem. Joe Harrington, not Joey Harrington, says, I appreciate you, Cecil. Appreciate you as well. I think I sold a comic book to Maurice Jones-Drew, which is odd because I was going through my inventory and my orders, and I saw Maurice Jones-Drew, and it was a Vegas address. So I was like, maybe he has a pad in Vegas and loves comic books, because how many Maurice Jones-Drew do you know? So if you bought a comic from me, MJD, hi. Anyway, appreciate you all out there. And thank you for the updates, because I'm getting it now in the chat room. I'm just catching up. To all the chat here, and appreciate you. And I think I did ban some of those bots already. So we have a great time, man. We got 3,500, 3,300 people watching live right now. So just appreciate everyone out there. Got over 1,000 people watching on YouTube in the live show and the live chat. Let's have some fun, man. This Broncos team is kicking ass, double live gonzo. So you love it. You absolutely love to see what this Broncos team can be. And you can see how this team, when they play close to their potential, again, it's probably 75. Let's put it 75. They're 75% of their potential, and nobody can beat them. Nobody can beat them. Bert says, ouch, our rib injury for an RB is not good. Shoulders worse. Ribs, what they'll do is it'll probably be DNP limited on Friday, and then you can wear a flak jacket, which also causes some ball security concerns. But you can get an ejection with a rib injury. You wear a flak jacket, and you go. A shoulder's more crucial because you have to lower your shoulder as a running back, and with a bad shoulder, that's bad news. Knee obviously is critical. High ankle sprain is critical. Rib injury, guys play with rib injuries all the time. So buckle up, Rook. Buckle up. And there you go. All right. That's a wrap for today's program. Appreciate everyone out there. Appreciate all the love. Randy, look at Randy saying yay comics. Randy, one of the real ones, saying yay comics. Go see Randy down at Hall of Justice in Parker. One of the best comic book shops I've ever been in. Like ever. We're talking nationwide. And Randy can back me up because he travels nationwide and goes to a lot of different comic book stores. But yeah, go see my guy Randy and tell him to go Broncos down there at Hall of Justice. And thank you, Randy. You're a dear friend and appreciate you very, very much. Bo knows and Orange Rush Broncos 2025. There you go. Orange Rush. Yeah, they were kind of like stumbling over that on the broadcast. Like, it's Orange Rush. They've done it before. I mean, it was the Orange Crush, but it's just playing off of the... Okay, God. Not everything needs a nickname. But I'll take the number 1 seed in the AFC, please, because the Broncos are the best team in football. Suck on that. I'm going to get an email from corporate. You can't say suck on that on a show. Well, suck on that. You hated the Broncos. Suck on that. You hated Bo Nix, and you work for another station where you promoted Todd McShay as this great draft analyst that had him as a 3rd-round grade. Suck on that. And oh, God, if they win the Super Bowl, I'm going to be insufferable. I'm going to be absolutely insufferable. And if you hated on Bo Nix, Kevin Kistner's going to reveal the entire list to the internet. So we have some fun on Orange and Blue today. We have some fun on Denver Sports. We love all our Denver sports teams. Have fun on Dover and Cecil. So thank you very much. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And love you guys. Appreciate you all very much. The Broncos are the best team in football. Don't at me, bro. And stay frosty.